Welcome to the modern supermarket, the temple of abundance, a place where bright labels promise us health, nature, and happiness. We trust them. We put these products in our baskets, feed them to our children, and think we are making the right choice. But what if I told you that this is all an illusion? What if that bright carton of juice is actually a chemical cocktail designed by perfume companies? What if your expensive cheese is just wood pulp, and that fresh meat was dead long before you were even born? The food industry has mastered the ultimate magic trick: how to sell you garbage for the price of gold. Today, we are going to rip off the masks. We will walk through every aisle of your grocery store and expose 30 products that are absolute fakes. Prepare yourself. After this video, you will never look at food the same way again. Fact number 1. Shredded cheese. Let's start with a classic American dinner staple: pizza or pasta. You grab a bag of pre-shredded cheese. It's convenient. The shreds are perfect, never clumping together. But have you ever asked yourself, why does cheese, which is naturally oily and sticky, act like dry plastic in a bag? The answer is hidden at the very end of the ingredients list: cellulose. Sounds like fiber, right? But in the food industry, powdered cellulose is a polite euphemism for wood pulp, sawdust. Manufacturers add it to absorb moisture and prevent clumping. The FDA allows it, but tests show some brands pump their product with up to 10% cellulose. Basically, you are paying premium prices for lumber. Bon appetit. Fact number 2. American cheese. Now, look at those perfect orange squares we put in our kids' sandwiches. American cheese. Do you know why the package often says prepared cheese product instead of just cheese? Because legally, it cannot be called cheese. Real cheese is milk and enzymes. This product is a mixture of milk fat, whey, emulsifiers, and a massive amount of salts. It contains less than 51% actual cheese curds. The rest is filler. Try a detailed experiment. Hold a flame to a slice. Real cheese melts and drips fat. This product turns black and burns like plastic, because chemically, it is closer to plastic than it is to food. Fact number 3. Greek yogurt. Everyone wants to be healthy, so Greek yogurt sales have skyrocketed. It's thick, creamy, and high in protein. Traditionally, to get that texture, yogurt must be strained through cloth for hours to remove the whey. It takes 3 cups of milk to make 1 cup of yogurt. That's expensive. But why waste milk when you can cheat physics? Big corporations take regular watery milk and pump it full of thickeners: cornstarch, whey protein concentrates, or gelatin derived from animal bones. They artificially thicken the liquid to create a concrete-like texture. You aren't eating a premium product, you're eating milk soup thickened with industrial glue. Fact number 4. Vanilla ice cream. Vanilla, the most popular flavor in the world, and the most mysterious. Real vanilla comes from an orchid that must be hand-pollinated. It is incredibly expensive. If your ice cream bucket costs $5, there are no orchids inside. There is natural flavor. Here is where it gets disturbing. One legally permitted source of this natural aroma is castoreum. It is a secretion from the anal glands of a beaver. Beavers use it to mark their territory. We use it to give ice cream a smoky vanilla note. While rare today, it's still legal. More commonly, you are eating synthetic vanillin derived from wood or petroleum. Oil or beaver butt. A tough choice for dessert, isn't it? Fact number 5. Whipped topping. Let's top off the dairy section with whipped cream from a can, or those tubs of whipped topping. Look at the ingredients on a tub of Cool Whip. The first item is water. The second is hydrogenated vegetable oil. The third is corn syrup. There is virtually no cream. It is an emulsion of oil and sugar pumped full of nitrous oxide to make it fluffy. That is why these creams can sit on a table for hours without melting. Real cream would collapse in minutes. This substance holds its shape like insulation foam. Because it's not food, it's an engineering structure made of trans fats. Meat and fish myths. Fact number 6. Crab sticks. Think you're safe in the seafood aisle? Think again. Let's look at crab sticks. The name sounds luxurious, but if you check the label, you won't find the word crab. At best, you'll see imitation in small print. This is surimi, a Japanese word meaning ground meat. Essentially, it is a fish paste made from the cheapest white fish available, mixed with starch, sugar, egg whites, and crab flavoring. And that appetizing red strip on top? That's just carmine dye made from beetles, or paprika painted on the surface to trick your eye. It's not seafood. It's the hot dog of the ocean. Fact number 7. Farmed salmon. You buy salmon for that beautiful, rich pink color, right? You are paying for paint. Wild salmon is pink because it spends its life in the ocean eating shrimp and krill. But the salmon you see in the supermarket likely grew up in a crowded farm, eating pellets made of soy and grain. Its flesh is naturally gray. Nobody buys gray fish, so farmers use a color catalog called a samofan. They literally pick a shade of pink, just like choosing paint for your walls, and add chemical pigments to the fish feed. You aren't eating healthy red fish. You are eating gray flesh pumped with cosmetics to look edible. Fact number 8. White tuna. Love sushi? Do you order white tuna at restaurants? Be extremely careful. Studies show that nearly 60% of fish labeled as tuna in U.S. restaurants is a fraud. Most often, you are being served escolar, or snake mackerel. It's cheap, oily, and delicious. But there's a problem. In Japan and Italy, this fish is banned as toxic. It contains a wax ester that the human stomach cannot digest. The medical consequence is called carriarrhea. In plain English, uncontrollable, orange, oily diarrhea. Enjoy your meal. Fact number 9. Kobe beef. A $100 Kobe beef burger. It sounds like the pinnacle of dining. In reality, it's the pinnacle of marketing. Real Kobe beef comes only from a specific prefecture in Japan, and its export is strictly limited. There is almost no real Kobe beef entering the U.S. What you are sold in most steakhouses is either a hybrid of American and Japanese cows, or just fatty beef branded as Kobe style or American Wagyu. The labeling laws here are full of loopholes. You are paying the price of an elite delicacy for a regular, slightly fattier patty. You aren't paying for taste, you're paying for a sticker. Fact number 10. Chicken nuggets. Finally, the favorite food of children everywhere, chicken nuggets. You think that beneath the breading hides a small piece of whole chicken breast. Cut it open. Do you see muscle fibers? No. You see a sponge. This is called mechanically separated meat. At the factory, they take chicken carcasses, what's left after the good meat is cut off, and force them through a sieve under high pressure. Bones, skin, connective tissue, and nerves are all ground into a smooth pink paste. Then, this paste is glued together, molded into dinosaur shapes, breaded, and fried. The chicken taste is there, but the chicken structure was destroyed long ago. Oils, sauces, and snacks. Fact number 11. Olive oil. Let's move to the liquid gold of the kitchen. We buy extra virgin olive oil because it's heart healthy. But have you heard of the agromafia? In Italy, olive oil fraud is a business comparable to drug trafficking. Experts estimate that up to 80% of oil sold in U.S. supermarkets as Italian extra virgin is fake. It is often low-quality oil diluted with cheap soybean or canola oil. To hide the fraud, they add chlorophyll for color and beta-carotene for flavor. You think you are dressing your salad with an elixir of health, but you are consuming a cheap cocktail of fats. Fact number 12. Truffle oil. If you see truffle fries on a menu, you feel fancy. The scent of truffle is unmistakable, earthy, pungent, expensive. But here is the dirty secret of fine dining. There are no truffles in truffle oil. None. Real truffles are too expensive and spoil too quickly to infuse into oil on an industrial scale. What you are smelling is a synthetic compound called 2,4-dithiopentane. It is a gas that mimics the main aroma of a truffle. Ideally, it's perfume for food. Old-school chefs hate it, calling it gasoline for salad. But restaurants keep using it because it allows them to sell cheap potatoes for triple the price. Fact number 13. Balsamic vinegar. Traditional balsamic vinegar from Modena is aged in wooden barrels for at least 12 years. It is thick like syrup and costs hundreds of dollars a bottle. Now look at that $5 bottle in your pantry. It's watery and dark. How is it made? Manufacturers take regular wine vinegar and add caramel coloring and sugar, or corn syrup, to mimic the color and sweetness of the aged product. It is not the result of decades of craftsmanship. It is just dyed sour water that has never seen a wooden barrel. Fact number 14. Maple syrup. Maple syrup is the pride of North America. To get 1 liter of real syrup, you need to boil down 40 liters of tree sap. It is labor-intensive. But look at the shelves. Famous brands with smiling ants on the label often call their product pancake syrup. Read the ingredients. There is no maple sap. The base is high fructose corn syrup mixed with an artificial flavoring called sotalon. Sotalon is a chemical that smells like burnt sugar or maple in high concentrations and like fenugreek in low ones. You are drenching your pancakes in processed corn, not nature. Fact number 15. Wasabi. Back to Japanese cuisine. That green lump of spicy paste you put on sushi. You probably think it's the root of the wasabi plant. Real wasabi is one of the hardest plants to grow in the world. It costs about $200 per kilogram. Furthermore, the grated root loses its flavor within 15 minutes. What is served in 99% of sushi bars is just regular European horseradish, mixed with mustard and dyed bright green with food coloring. You are eating painted horseradish and paying exotic prices for it. Fact number 16. Pringles. We all know the slogan, "Once you pop, you can't stop." These chips are perfectly uniform, stacking flawlessly. But a potato is an irregularly shaped vegetable. How do they slice it so perfectly? They don't, because Pringles aren't sliced potatoes. In the US, legally, they are potato crisps, not chips. The process is closer to making paper. Potato flakes, corn, and wheat are mixed with water into a mush, rolled out into a giant sheet, cut into ovals, and pressed into that curved shape. It's not a fried vegetable slice. It's dehydrated mashed potatoes pressed into a hyperbolic paraboloid. Fact number 17. Honey. Honey is one of the most faked foods in history. Tests show that over 75% of honey sold in big box stores contains no pollen. Why does that matter? Pollen is the only way to trace the origin of honey. Without it, you can't prove where it came from. Manufacturers ultrafilter the honey to hide the fact that it likely came from questionable sources in China and was diluted with cheap rice or corn syrup. You are buying a golden sweet liquid in a bear-shaped bottle, thinking it's the work of bees. But bees had almost nothing to do with it. Fact number 18. Blueberry muffins. You go to a coffee shop and grab a blueberry muffin. You see appetizing blue spots inside the dough. You think you are eating fruit. But look closely at the ingredient list on box mixes. There are often no blueberries. These blue dots are officially called blueberry crunchlets. They are little lumps made of sugar, corn syrup, starch, hydrogenated oil, and blue number 2 dye, derived from petroleum. They are just drops of colored fat and sugar designed to mimic the texture of a popped berry. Real blueberries are too wet and expensive. Chemistry is cleaner and cheaper. Fact number 19. White chocolate. Let's be honest, white chocolate is not chocolate. Technically, chocolate must contain cocoa solids, the dark, bitter part of the bean rich in antioxidants. White chocolate has none. At best, it is a mixture of cocoa butter, sugar, and milk. But cocoa butter is expensive. Cosmetic companies want it for lotions. So, in cheap white chocolate, it is often replaced with palm oil or other vegetable fats. Essentially, it is just sweetened, flavored fat that has nothing to do with the benefits of real chocolate. Fact number 20. Red candy. Many parents avoid artificial dyes, so they look for natural color on candy or yogurt labels. Often they see carmine or E120. It sounds safe and natural. And it is natural. Carmine is obtained by harvesting thousands of female cochineal beetles from cacti in South America. They are dried and then boiled to extract the bright red acid from their guts. To dye 1 pound of candy, you need to crush about 70,000 beetles. Yes, it's safe, unless you are allergic. But most vegetarians are horrified to learn that their strawberry yogurt or red lollipop is literally insect juice. Fact number 21. Gummy bears. Gummy bears shine. They are smooth, glossy, and don't stick together in the bag. How is that perfect shine achieved? With carnauba wax. This wax is harvested from the leaves of a Brazilian palm tree. It is very hard. That's why it's not just used in candy. It is the exact same wax used to polish cars and make floors scratch-resistant. When you eat gummy bears, you are essentially polishing your stomach with the same compound used to detail a sports car. Fact number 22. Orange juice. The carton says 100% juice and not from concentrate. You imagine farmers squeezing oranges directly into the box. The reality is called deoxygenated storage. After squeezing, all the oxygen is removed from the juice. This allows it to be stored in giant vats for up to a year. But removing oxygen also removes all flavor and scent. The juice becomes flavorless sugar water. To make it taste fresh again before bottling, they add flavor packs, additives engineered by perfume companies, the same ones making scents for Dior. Since these packs are derived from orange essence, they don't have to be listed on the label. But that taste? It's the taste of engineering, not nature. Fact number 23. Tea bags. Tea is the second most consumed drink in the world. But if you cut open a cheap tea bag, you won't find leaves. You find dust. The industry calls it fannings, the waste left over after sorting quality tea. But the problem isn't just the dust, it's the bag. Many modern pyramid bags are made of nylon or food-grade plastic, PET. Studies show that brewing one of these plastic bags in boiling water releases about 11 billion microplastic particles into your cup. You aren't just drinking tea dust, you are drinking hot plastic soup. Fact number 24. Bottled water. This is perhaps the greatest marketing trick of the 21st century. We buy bottled water because we believe it is cleaner and safer than tap water. However, nearly half of all bottled water is just filtered tap water. Brands like Aquafina or Dasani openly admit their source is public water supply. They take the same water flowing into your bathtub, run it through extra filters, and sell it to you at a 2,000% markup. You aren't paying for the water. You are paying for the plastic bottle that will take 400 years to decompose. Fact number 25. Instant coffee. For many, the morning starts with instant coffee. But if you buy cheap powder, you might be drinking more than just coffee beans. Scandals have revealed that manufacturers sometimes bulk up the powder with fillers. What fillers? Roasted barley, wheat, soybeans, and even ground-up twigs. In some tests, impurities reached 30%. The caffeine is there, the taste is similar, and the color is black. But in reality, you are brewing a mug of roasted debris that just happened to get mixed in during processing. Fact number 26. White bread. Snow white, soft sandwich bread. It looks so pure. But flour isn't naturally that white. Natural flour has a yellowish, creamy tint. To make bread dazzlingly white, the flour is subjected to harsh chemical bleaching. The agents used include chlorine dioxide and benzoyl peroxide. These are the same chemicals used to bleach paper and textiles. Some countries ban these, but in the US, they are legal. Your toast is white, not because it's clean, but because it was laundered with chemicals. Fact number 27. Dough conditioners. Why is supermarket bread so soft and airy? The secret is an amino acid called L-cysteine. It relaxes the gluten and allows the dough to stretch easily in industrial machines. Where does this L-cysteine come from? You don't want to know. The cheapest industrial source is human hair. Yes, hair collected from barbershops in Asia, as well as duck feathers. They are dissolved in acid to isolate the amino acid. Most fast food chains and commercial bakeries use this. When you eat that soft burger bun, you might be eating a recycled haircut. Fact number 28. Saffron. Saffron is the most expensive spice in the world, worth more than gold by weight. Naturally, it is a magnet for fraud. Tests show that a huge portion of cheap saffron on the market is fake. Often, it is dried corn silk, marigold petals, or even fibers of salted beef dyed red. If you see cheap saffron, it's not a bargain. It's dyed hay. Fact number 29. Cinnamon. The cinnamon on your shelf is likely not real cinnamon. There are two types: Ceylon, true, and Cassia. Ceylon is expensive and has a delicate flavor. Cassia is what is sold in 99% of stores. It is the bark of a related tree, which is much cheaper and rougher. The problem is that Cassia contains high levels of coumarin, a substance that is toxic to the liver in large doses. Europe restricts Cassia, but the US sells it simply as cinnamon. You won't die from a cinnamon roll, but if you eat it by the spoonful for health, you are damaging your liver. Fact number 30. Brown bread. We are taught white bread is bad, brown bread is good. Manufacturers know this. So they take regular white flour, strip it of all nutrients, and then dye it brown. They use caramel color or molasses. The result is bread that looks like healthy whole wheat but has the glycemic index of cotton candy. Unless the first word on the label is whole, it's just white bread in a disguise. We've walked through 30 products, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. The food industry isn't about food. It's about profit, chemistry, and logistics. It's not profitable for them to sell you the real thing because the real thing spoils fast and costs money. It is profitable to sell you an imitation that lives on a shelf for years. What can you do? Stop believing the front of the package. Flip it over. Read the fine print. If you can't pronounce an ingredient, you probably shouldn't eat it. Vote with your wallet, because as long as we buy fakes, they will keep making them. Subscribe to the channel if you want to know what else they are hiding from you. See you in the next investigation.